Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today for another look at a different type of Oxymel. I am on a big Oxymel kick right now, and being fall, it is high prime remedy making season. I love making remedies with fresh material when possible, and since it is harvest season and there's a lot of picking going on, there's a lot of remedy making going on. So today I am going to talk to you about a very old recipe for an Oxymel that is not called fire cider. It used to be called fire cider, but then somebody decided to copyright the name fire cider, so nobody can call it fire cider anymore. But if you look in old remedy books and old herbal books, even Google searches on Facebook for fire cider, you will find this recipe, even though we can't call it that anymore. So I'm going to call it a fire Oxymel. As I said, this is a very old remedy, and there are recipes all over the place, and I don't reinvent the wheel when I don't need to reinvent the wheel. This particular recipe comes from Mountain Rose Herbs, one of my favorite companies to order from, get information from, learn from. So I like their blog. I read it a lot. And this recipe comes straight from their blog. Yes, Margaret is here as well. As usual, there's always a kid in my arms, and I love that. So this recipe is from Mountain Rose Herbs. You can see it here, or I will place a link below, as well as on my blog, that you can look that up. This recipe does make quite a lot. So I like to change recipes into parts. I have changed this recipe to using just parts, so you can decide how big you want it. If you want your part to be a tablespoon, or if you want your part to be a half cup, that's totally up to you. So if you check out this recipe here, that way, you can see the recipe broken down to parts. I will also put that on my blog in the link below, but that's what we're going to be working off today. I have gathered my ingredients here, and I have some that I have from fresh: ginger, horseradish, onion, garlic, lemon. The ginger here, you can see that I just chopped fine. The garlic as well. You can mince it a little bit smaller. The onions I sliced up a little bit. Some chunks are a little bit bigger, some chunks are a little bit smaller. You do what works for you. I also sometimes shred. So my horseradish I ran through the grater, as well as my lemon zest. Sometimes I do it all on the grater, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I put it in the food processor. Again, not a science. Do what works for you. You might not be able to find every ingredient fresh, and today I am using some of my dried herbs from my stash. I am using some turmeric powder from Mountain Rose Herbs, some cayenne powder, as well as some rosemary leaf, dried rosemary leaf. And if you don't have one of the ingredients on the list, just omit it. I'm sure you remember from the recipes I posted, because I'm sure you memorized them already, that there was jalapeno on there, and I don't have any today, so we won't be adding jalapeno to my recipe. Maybe I will add it in a day or two, and maybe I won't, but we're just going to omit the jalapeno. And if there's a ingredient you're allergic to, just don't like, just omit it. With all that being said, we're ready to actually make our Oxymel. I have gathered all the ingredients here and invited my kiddos over, so let's get started. Once you have all the ingredients in the jar, you can add the apple cider vinegar. Remember, raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar is best, and cover your material by at least an inch. Next is the honey to complete the Oxymel. This particular recipe uses a little more apple cider vinegar than honey. I like a little more honey, so do what suits your taste buds. When you finish with that step, you can cover it with parchment paper and the lid. Don't forget to label your lid with what's inside and the date. Store it in a cool, dark place and shake daily as you think about it, and your fire Oxymel should be ready in about 6 weeks. As always, thank you for joining me. Like, comment, and share below if you feel so inclined, and visit me at whakimaherbals.com. You can email me at whakimaherbals@gmail.com, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.